Good morning, everybody. I forgot the countdown. It is Friday the 13th after all. Anyway, I'm 30 seconds early. Good to see you all. I guess you don't miss it. You won't miss it today. At any rate, happy Friday the 13th, my friends. Let me reach over here with my right hand and push the button so you can see me. There I am. Oh, wow. Drink it if you got it. What else could possibly go wrong? Oh, I missed the music and everything. All right, there you go. Took me by surprise. I was waiting for that thing to come up. Show the coffee maker. I was ready to hit the button and I saw myself. And the reason for that is the last live stream I did was the private community live stream last night, and I don't use that countdown. So while I'm thinking about it here, you'll bear with me, and I will go and make sure that the video plays at the end of the stream. And I'll set the intro video again so that it plays the next time on Sunday when I do the live stream. Oh, and the coffee cup is back up where it belongs. Mitch. Friday the 13th. To be truthful, I've been doing a lot of thinking about the slew, and I mean slew, of comments that I dispatched, let me put it that way, this morning from that video I did yesterday. Wow. You'd think. Now, there were a lot of good comments, and I truly did love many of them. But after a while of going through them, and it took me over an hour, I just said, God, I can't do this anymore. And I read them all, and I gave them all a heart, whether I liked them, loved them, hated them, disagreed with them, agreed with them, because so many of them would have required a short novel for me to write, just to straighten out what I could say in one sentence. You're entitled to your own opinion. I didn't feel like getting into any conflict, any debates, any back and forth, any whack-a-moles. There was one miserable person that I just hid from the channel, never to be seen by me or you again. And his comment basically says, "You look like death warmed over," and then he went on to insult me about why I'm not a vegan. So I just have to do away with those. But anything else, I gave a heart. So if you got a heart, you know, if you've tried to start a debate with me in those comments or not. And contrary to popular belief, I guess, I do love all comments because everybody's entitled to comments. And I like the fact that people feel the need to interact. Sometimes they think they have to save my life, protect me from stupidity, because God forbid, in my quest to find what works for me and fine-tune my diet, God forbid I should not be 100% carnivore, but let's say 99% carnivore and eat one lousy cup of blueberries. You'd think I had said, from some people's reaction, I'm going to try eating 1 cup of cyanide laced with hemlock. It's an experiment, people. N of 1. N of 1 means it's an experiment. And so far, all I've changed is I've cut caffeine out for 2 days. That's it. Same old diet, same old regimen, same old routine, same old schedule. All I've done is drink, this is the 3rd day, watered down decaf. And yesterday I had 2 cups because I had one last night during the live stream. And this morning I'm back again. And this will be my only coffee at all for the day. The equivalent of 1 K-cup of decaf. So enjoy your coffee. I will. And surprisingly enough, I don't need it strong. This is fine. It's delicious. I got my little thermos thing here, and I made it in a 2-cup mixing cup, the famous egg beating cup, and made 2 12-ounce cups of coffee, which ran the machine twice, and poured it in the cup, this cup here, and what was left I poured in there. So sometime during the stream, I will probably refill it. I did not get headaches. I felt a little more sluggish than usual, but the most I ever drank was 2 cups of caffeinated coffee a day. And I don't think that was enough caffeine that I was that dependent on it, where some people that try to go cold turkey from 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 cups of coffee a day might have a little more problem because they relied on that caffeine more than I did. So we'll see. It's an experiment. And I think I'm feeling pretty good today. It wasn't bad yesterday. I'm going to, I think, start trying to add the blueberries. Now, that's an experiment. I have not made a lifetime commitment. I have not said I will eat a couple blueberries every day for the rest of my life. This is an experiment. I will do it maybe at most for a week. Give it a little time to see if the additional carbs make me feel any appreciably better. And also, it's a test of, by eating them before a meal instead of afterwards as dessert, if by stuffing myself full of meat and fat after I eat the blueberries, if I can keep my addiction at bay. That's the purpose of an experiment. But you'd think that basically, from the comments I got yesterday, that I had came out and declared that I'm done with carnivore, I'm going to become a vegan, and I'm going to eat nothing but blueberries. Wow, I've never seen so many people so up in arms, so worried about me. Mitch, be careful, you're going to kill yourself, blah, 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 blah. It was unbelievable. If you don't believe me, go back to that video and read through the comments. It's something. This is an experiment. I'm taking you along with it. At the end of all this, I may find that pure carnivore is the best for me. Strict carnivore is the best for me. But if I'm not feeling well, or I'm not having the energy I need to have, there has got to be something causing it. It could be one of 1,000 things. How can I know? I can listen to what everybody else says. On one hand, I got Rob Sivas saying that you need to add, and they suggest drinking milk. Well, I don't like to drink milk. Sorry. Well, maybe I'll use them half and half and make ice cream out of the blueberries. Okay, that gets a few extra carbs in there. I'm trying very hard not to go over 20 carbs a day no matter what I do. And I got news for you, my friends. None of us needs to be strict carnivore unless it's for elimination purposes. Like Michaela Peterson or other people with severe gastric autoimmune conditions like Crohn's, ulcerative colitis. Yes, there are some people who need to be strict carnivore. But from a historical and ancestral perspective, carbs have been a part of the human diet ever since there have been humans. 2 million plus years. We can handle it. And I still posit that it is the addiction that is what's causing all of our problems. And the food companies are capitalizing on that to get us to buy more of their product. It's that simple. We didn't have that problem thousands of years ago. We didn't have that problem until the mid-1900s. So don't worry about me. I'm not going to kill myself. I was warned about the fact that blueberries are high in oxalates. They are not high. They're not nearly as high as spinach, almonds, chocolate. They have some oxalates in them, yes. Every plant has some oxalates in them. One cup of blueberries is not going to be enough oxalates for me to kill myself. My body can handle that level. We can detoxify moderate levels of any poison. In fact, we work up tolerances to them. So I'm not worried if a cup. Have you all seen how much a cup of blueberries it really is? Have you actually looked at it? Most people, when they sit down and eat that stuff, eat a hell of a lot more than a cup. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to continue to make videos about it, and that's how I'm going to handle the comments. I'm just going to say, okay, you misunderstand what I'm trying to do here. I like blueberries too. I was accused of giving in to my addiction again. Mitch, you're just giving in to your addiction. We know how much you like blueberries. Well, if I'm going to add carbs and I can try to figure out a way to handle the addiction, why wouldn't I eat something I like? What am I supposed to do? Eat nothing but broccoli? I hate broccoli. Of course, I want to try to make, if I'm going to eat carbs and add them in, I do want to enjoy them. Duh. If I see that my addiction, if I see the blueberry creep coming in, if I see myself mindlessly going back for another helping of it, yes, I will stop. I've done that many times. So how else can you experiment? How else can you try new ways to handle things once you know what the problem is? And the problem, I know and keep preaching, overarching problem is addiction. Lucky people who aren't carb addicts. They can eat this so-called balanced diet as long as you eat more than 70% of your food from animal products. You are a carnivore. Another thing I noticed about this was there's many cultists among us. You can't call yourself a carnivore if you eat one blueberry a day. You're not a carnivore. Well, okay. You know me. I am never that strict, and everybody has to do what's right for them. So at any rate, welcome everybody. I just wanted to get that off my chest. We had a great live stream last night. Lewis was there. Peter came in. Thomas was there. B. Carmack was there. We had a great time. And speaking of Princess Mom. Princess Mom joined the private community this morning. Welcome. Welcome, Princess. How are you? Why do I? All right. Friday the 13th. We're off to a great start. I got rid of the distracting Chiron down at the bottom. Sometimes I forget that. And let's go into the chat. Say hi to people. YouTube did not cut me off last night. Yay. And first one in yesterday was Lori at 6:40 p.m. How you doing, Lori? Good to see you. Smoothie said yeehaw 2 right afterwards. And Tuka was right there. Hey, folks, I will be on listening mode. Mike Silly from Tampa Bay, and this is a good time for me to make a little announcement. Michael has suggested that we have a meetup here in Melbourne, and let me just go into my email and make sure that I am getting the date right that he suggests. He says Wednesday, July 2nd would be good for him. It's hard to put these things together, but so Wednesday, plan on that. Wednesday, July 2nd at the Brazilian Steakhouse here in Melbourne, Florida. I'll go. I can come. I can be there. I can drive myself, even though Michael has offered to come and pick me up and chauffeur me there. I'm still trying any chance I get to stretch out. And I'm looking forward to driving myself, parking in the parking lot, getting into the building. I'll probably use a walker, but I will be there. Looking like death warmed over, according to some. I personally don't think I look like death warmed over. I think I look pretty healthy, considering I'm less than 3.5 months out from a stroke, for God's sakes, and still, who knows what caused that. I have to consider anything, even if I maybe might not like the answer. Got to be a realist. I'll never find out. So we're going to plan that meetup. Please Gmail OldGuyCarnivore@gmail.com if you'd like to come. I'll be talking about it constantly now, and probably post a community tab post on YouTube, and one or two things is going to happen. Either a bunch of you will come and we'll have a great time, or I'll have a nice quiet lunch with Mike and his father. Either way, I'm going to be there. So, little announcement this morning, a little public service announcement. It'll be my first time getting together with y'all since I was down there in Sarasota and Tampa for the for Kiltzer's and Curry's meetup back in, was that February, I think, right before I had my stroke. Okay, where were we? I came to Mike Seeley, and that reminded me of that. And Wayne Herman, greetings all from Lake Gaston, and we have Target Thomas is here. Long time no see. Yeah, Thomas saw him last night. We had a great time. We always have a good time in that private community. I talk about things a lot of times I don't like to talk about too much in public. Terry Sue, Friday the 13th should be fun. Well, it didn't let me down right at the start, that's for sure. Sandy Blythe was here. Lady June was here. B81 Mac was here. Gem at 48, watch a video. Lots of opinions on carbs. Yeah. You noticed it, did you? Yeah, Gem. Lots of opinions. Well, you know what they say about opinions. They compare them to a body part and say everybody's got one. We've all heard that. We've all heard that. And Jevin came in and wished Rick a happy birthday. Rick, are you here this morning? I haven't gotten to you yet. Let me look at it. Do we see charge? Yes, Rick is here, and as a special birthday treat for Rick, I'll bring together the chorus. Here you go, Rick. Happy birthday. You may not believe it, but that was happy birthday in duck. Happy birthday, my friend. Another year older. I told you not to do that, but you do it anyway. Anyway, everybody's saying happy birthday to Rick, Gene, Jerome Musal. How you doing, Jerome? We're talking probably maybe 7 o'clock this morning. Says, great chat yesterday, Mitch. Don't worry, I won't blow everyone away this time. And Wayne Herman is here from Lake Gaston, North Carolina. Mike Silly Sr.'s here. And here is the birthday boy himself, Morning Rick from Miami. And he's starting to say thank you to everybody that's wishing him a happy birthday. Sandy Blythe Thomas, I laugh so hard. Yeah, what Thomas is referring to, and I should cut it out and make a clip out of it and play it every once in a while. Thomas was in the panel on our live stream and had to blow his nose. And he thought he was being very considerate of us because he put his hand up over the microphone, over the camera like this. And then he proceeded to blow his nose right into the microphone and blew out most of the speakers in whatever we were listening or watching on. And it was the funniest thing you ever saw. But we got to give Thomas kudos for at least trying to be unobtrusive. But I think he himself suggested that I make a video clip out of it, or one of the other guys did. Maybe it was CB. It was a funny moment, though. And Carnivore Police is here from Yorba Linda, California. How are you? At 8 o'clock this morning, Roxanne Friend said good morning to everybody. Everybody's still saying happy birthday to Rick. Peach Baron is with us here. Good morning to you. Lady June from United Kingdom is here. Tammy Batarch. Hi, Tammy. How you doing? Tammy, I did read your email from yesterday, and I'll reply to it when I get to it today. But I'll try to come up with something that might help. Claudia Burking is here. Good morning, 826. Loretta Nadow. Aaron Booby Goats is with us. How are you doing? And Grace Lily is here. Peter is here. Melissa B is here. Laurie is back with us. How you doing? And Rick says, here I am on Friday the 13th with a black cat. Yeah, I was going to comment about that. Did you put Milton in hiding for today, or are you going to let him wander across your path all day long? Probably. Les Junk More Health is here. How you doing? Who else is new? Are we getting up to 8:30 yet? Everybody's conversing. I know this is exciting for everybody. The countdown. Wow, look at all the 829s. And the winner today is No Slow Gary. Welcome to Morning Decaf with Mitch. Yeah. It was suggested in one of those comments yesterday that I need to change the ending on all my videos. Instead of just saying eat meat, now I'm supposed to say eat meat and blueberries. That's what happens when I make a video that is a little bit out of the ordinary. The comments are crazy. I mean, just everybody comments, and that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. That's a good thing to comment. Any comments but the real nasty ones, like the one that I told you about, are welcome. Everybody, I want to hear from everybody. As a matter of fact, I heard it was some of your comments that got me thinking about this in the first place. I take them to heart. I have a lot of smart people who watch me. That's a compliment, and I would be stupid not to listen to what some of you guys say, because we are all doing research, because nobody yet knows. Believe me, not Ken Berry, Sean Baker, anybody. Nobody yet knows all the nuances involved in human nutrition, especially considering we're a little bit different, every one of us. One size does not fit all. That's why I do what I do. I think that I'm approaching it from an experiment point of view. The problem is, it takes a while for any changes you make to actually manifest themselves in anything you might notice. None of us are going to live long enough to try all the different combinations, but we do the best we can, and we try to share them with other people. I did this, and it worked great for me, and this is how I know. Might not work for you. That's basically the understanding we all have to have going into this, trying to share this information, because there are no definitive long-term studies on the effects of any diet on human beings. The closest we have to a long-term study, and it's anecdotal as hell, means there's no control to it, but we can infer, since the introduction of mass amounts of sugar into our diet, seed oils and grains, and the level of disease and chronic disease that our population is suffering in general today, I think we have enough numbers in that cohort, like 90% of the American population, that the results can be considered definitive. And that is that eating copious amounts of sugar, seed oils, and grains will more than likely give you heart disease, diabetes, dementia, shorten your lifespan. I don't think there's any argument against that. But we don't have. The closest we have for that with meat is, well, we've been eating meat since the beginning of history, and we didn't have diabetes and heart disease and dementia at the rates we have now. Those of us that are eating meat right now seem to be curing our diabetes, heart disease, and dementia. But it's still a small group of us, but compared to the number of people that are doing the opposite, I would think that we can pretty well definitively say that that's as good as any study, because of the sheer numbers. The sheer numbers. All you got to do every time you drive by a new hospital under construction or a new nursing home under construction, you have to ask yourself, why the hell do we need more nursing homes? Our population is not increasing. It isn't. Oh, I forgot to say, the bad diet affects fertility too. Something that Dr. Kiltz knows all well, and his business is thriving because of it. There's a smart man. There's a smart man. That infertility problem is not going to go away, not as long as the masses don't change anything. And so far from what I've seen, the masses are just getting deeper and deeper into this quagmire of the standard American diet. with junk food, because every commercial, every sporting event, everything is brought to you by Nabisco and Pepsi and Pfizer. More and more. So we haven't made a dent yet. We haven't made a dent yet. I don't know. Have any of you, have you watched the trailer for that animal video? They actually have a trailer. It's on YouTube. Search for it, animal trailer, and you'll probably go right to it. I watched it yesterday. It had been up on YouTube for an entire day. It looks to be one of the better documentaries. Somebody spent a lot of money and time producing this thing. It's got all the usual suspects in it. It's got Chafee and John Baker and Ken Berry and all of them. All of them. I think Robert Kiltz is in it. But all the suspects are in there, saying the same thing they always say. It's a documentary that the hopes for it, just like with Kerry, are that the people who have never heard of this, which is most people, because we are a very obscure, small group of people, it might get in front of them and they might consider it. I never hold that much hope for these things doing any good other than reinforcing what we believe. And they do. But just like you can't change your relatives' minds, I doubt that they can change people's minds at any numbers that are going to be meaningful in the short term, because the addiction is too strong for them to keep doing what they're doing, and their total life and culture, day to day, is wrapped up in their diet. Food is the main event. It always is. Food is not the main event for carnivores. Have you noticed? Comes time to eat, you're not really too picky. Just give me something with protein and fat in it. What's the easiest? But everybody else on the planet is watching cooking shows and going to new restaurant openings and throwing parties. Gordon Ramsay. We don't have a Gordon Ramsay in the carnivore world. We don't have a Emeril Lagasse. We don't have any of those people. It's not celebrated. It's not part of a culture. And the culture these days is all about food. So here comes these documentaries, and they make a great point. And there have been 10 or 20 of them already that made the same points. How many times has Nina Ty Schultz appeared in one of these documentaries talking about the corruption and the propaganda and the way you've been fooled by big food, big ag, and big pharma? And they never go anywhere. Nobody wants to distribute them to the masses because the money is against it. And the masses and the people that have to agree to distribute these things, like major TV networks, and not just distribute it, but spend a fortune promoting it. There's a billion things on Netflix that you don't know about because they never spent any money getting it in front of you. So it's still all about money, and I always get hopeful when I see these things. I always wish for the best. But if it isn't spread at a grassroots level, don't expect MSNBC and CNN to have flash breaking news. New documentary proves that Americans have been eating the wrong food for 80 years. Let me tell you something. I still have my bridge up in Brooklyn for sale. Cheap. If you can point me to MSNBC or CNN or even Fox coming out with a thing like that, the most that any network is likely to talk about when it comes to diet on the national news is usually something trying to discredit Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That's it. And occasionally once we heard the name Casey Means, at least me, on national things. So it has to be a groundswell, grassroots. Those things don't happen quickly. We're an information society. We need our news in quick, digestible, 10-second sound bites. And then before we can even absorb what we just heard, think about it. Think about it as a problem. Think about it. We're on to the next 10-second sound bite. We're on to the next 10-second sound bite. That is how we live. Now, us older people aren't as bad as the young kids who are wired in. And the stream of things that somebody wants them to think are relevant to their lives, they get faced with hundreds or thousands of transactions every day. How are they supposed to actually sit down, take any time, and contemplate anything? It's just not working. It's just not working. And the efforts to get the kids to put down the cell phones, that's not working either. It doesn't bode well. It doesn't bode well for our future. Yes, I did it again. You all know that when I disappear like that, wait a few seconds and I'll be back. Sorry, guys. Sorry. 123 people watching. Friday the 13th. That's good. That's more attendance than I've had the last few streams. Good to see you. It's good to see everybody. Yep. Everybody jumps on in. No Mitch. Thank you, Kathy. Yes, I was aware of that. I still don't know what I do that makes that happen, but it does happen. It's see, I got no respect at all. No respect at all. Me and Rodney Dangerfield. No respect at all. I mean, my favorite, Rodney Dangerfield, one of my favorite jokes is this. Went in the McDonald's yesterday. They told me I didn't deserve a break. I love the guy. He says, I was in rough shape yesterday, but I'm okay now. I think the world lost a great comedian when he died. That was a shame. Well, we got through that a little bit, and I lost my place in the chat, of course, where I was saying hi. So I see Papa Carnivore asked me a question. I can't pull it up on the chat, but in the other chat over here, where I am, see where it's flashing to the right. It says, "Question, Mitch. In his Dr. Saiva's reaction video, Dr. Bart K said that carb cycling is not necessary, that carbs are not needed or an essential nutrient. Your thoughts?" You're going to try to, Peter, you're going to try to put me in between Rob Sivas and Bart K. If you went up to the average man in the street, first of all, and you said, Have you ever heard of either of these guys? The average man in the street. Somebody that you know is worldly, on top of everything, can tell you not only that Israel bombed Iran this morning, but they can tell you how many bombs and exactly what time in the Iran time zone. How many people would you guess would know who the hell Robert Sivas or Bart K are? Right. Nobody. They're somebody. You may have to ask him, how many people have heard of Mitch? the old guy. They're only well known in our small community. And most people in our community don't even know who Bart K is because they never heard of him and don't watch him. He's a smart guy, but he is not 100% right on everything. He is not the final authority on things that nobody knows the answer to. You have to consider all the nuances in the system that is our physiology, the thousands of ways that tiny little changes in tiny micronutrients, just like the butterfly effect, can actually affect the whole organism. There are too many of these things for the average layman, even the average expert, to consider. And this whole carb cycling is not anything to do with the physiology of the carnivore diet. It is what happens after a long period of the body trying to adapt to life without carbs. There have to be some changes because carbs have always been there. Again, if you make a statement like you don't need any carbs, you are making a blanket condemnation of ancestral evolution. They're there for a reason. We have all of this chemistry and all of these pathways. This is my thinking. I'm not saying Bart K is wrong, no more than I'm saying Robert Cybes is right. I'm saying I haven't felt well. Could be the stroke, but I was feeling less energy before the stroke. I don't give a shit what either of those guys say. I want to tell you how I approach a problem that involves me. I want to hear what everybody said, but that's only something for me to consider. One of 1,000 things that might be the problem. And then when you experiment, you have to give the benefit of the doubt to all the different theories. You never know, because nobody knows for sure which one of them is right. So you have to start changing little things one at a time and see what the results are. So I don't care that Bart K is making a reaction video to Robert Cybes, Peter. Take that for what it's worth. Yes, Bart is a smart guy. But Bart, I am not going to pay Bart an enormous amount of money to consult with him so he thinks he knows me, can learn to know me well enough to know exactly what's going on in my body and not give me what he thinks are pad answers. This consulting stuff, the doctors don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know. But the only way I know I can find out is make small changes and see if it makes any difference. And even then, if a difference is noticed, it might be from something else that just went away by itself. Who knows? Maybe I had a bug. So you do the best you can. I've been bombarded with so much advice, which is why I can't take any of it seriously. Everybody's got an opinion. Fine. Of course we have an opinion. That's not going to help me other than something else that I should consider. And I'm going to do these things, and I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, and I'm going to tell you if I think they made any difference, but I'm not going to tell you to do it. This is only an N of one experiment and something to give you something else to consider, and maybe lean your beliefs towards one of the guys out there giving advice, either maybe Rob Cybes or Bart K. They're not the only ones. Ben Azadi he wrote a book about flexing, about carb cycling. none of us know for sure. It's those people who claim to be the final authority that I take the least seriously. Anybody arrogant and egotistical enough to think they're the only ones that have it right and everybody else has got it wrong, you got to dismiss those guys. You got to dismiss those guys because their ego and their arrogance sometimes clouds their reality. And it's a good question, Peter. It's a great question, and I've seen both of them. You know what a fan of reaction videos I am. I lose respect for almost anybody that makes reaction videos. A little respect. Why? Why bother? What makes you think your reaction video is going to influence more dummies out there than the video itself that you're reacting to did? If people are stupid enough, for example, the sugar diet, if people are stupid enough to fall for that stuff, what makes you think they're going to fall for what you say? Either understand it or you don't. Oh, wow. I'm ignoring the chat here as I pontificate. I guess I could count as a little rant. I know that because they always feel pretty good. And I'm in the same boat. I'm not telling anybody, you have to believe me, everybody else is wrong. I have no idea. I'm just telling you how I plod through this, what I've discovered so far and what's worked. So far, it took me a lifetime to discover that the carnivore diet worked. But now I have a situation where it's not working as well as it did, and I am not changing anything. So why? How come it worked for 2.5 years and then it didn't? I didn't have any more weight to lose. It fixed that. I didn't have any arthritis pain, kidney stones, oxalate problem, arthritis. It fixed all that. So if it worked for a couple of years and now it's not as good as it did, and that happened, I started to notice that before the stroke, so I have to eliminate the stroke as a reason. The stroke just amplifies the difference that I feel. Makes it more noticeable for me. Why? Why is it not working as good as it was? That's the question I have to answer. Do I need to put on a little weight? Do I need to get my cholesterol down a little bit? Even though I don't think it's harmful, because I'm not 30 or 40 years old anymore. Even a small amount of carbs brings your cholesterol way down. I ignore food. Well, maybe that's because maybe we don't want to run around with 300 or 400 LDLs. Maybe we need to eat a little bit of carbs to get it. I don't know. Nobody knows. The majority of the world opinion is that the cholesterol is killing everybody. We know that's wrong, but maybe it can be too high. Who knows? The final arbiter, believe me, of what's right and wrong is how you feel. And that's the thing I'm looking at. I can sense the problem, and I have to experiment to find things that will make me feel better and give me more energy. My brain seems to be working okay. I can think very clearly, but I have balance issues. I have to find it. And if I find something that works for me and really has solved this problem, that's the kind of thing I want to tell people about. Because then it's just not theory. I might be totally off base. But you got to listen to somebody, and I don't think you should just fall in lockstep behind anybody because they're a respected doctor and they say to do this, that you should do it too. It may not be right for you. You have to experiment for yourself if you're not feeling well. And judging by the letters, emails, and comments that I get from so many of you, carnivore is not working for you like you had hoped. There might be something else. How do you find that something else? Well, it's the same problem I have right now. So if you learn nothing else from me, learn that I don't think I have all the answers, but I do understand how the scientific method works, and I do know how to approach a problem and try to zero it on the answer. That's troubleshooting, and that I'm very good at, and I always have been. And that's what I'm trying to apply to this, and I'm trying to let you come along and watch. Many of you will just tell me how stupid I am, and how a couple of blueberries may as well be eating a cup of cyanide. It's going to kill me. All the while stuffing your own face with 300 grams of crap every day. Pizzas and Doritos and beer. Fine. You're entitled to your opinion. Go ahead and keep doing what you're doing. Consider the source of all this advice. I don't watch Bart K anymore. I respect him, but I don't watch him. I don't listen to a word he says. Art K has his thing, and I like the guy, but I don't feel the need to listen to him anymore. I don't think he's got anything to tell me that will do anything but confuse me and maybe send me down the wrong path. I need to almost ignore the noise, which is why I watch fewer and fewer videos, and I go to fewer and fewer doctors, have fewer and fewer tests, contrary to the advice of everybody, so that I can analyze this stuff based on the clues I'm getting. I may be completely off base. Robert Cybus would have you monitor everything every day. Everybody lives by the numbers, and yet they're not being helped. Maybe that's all most people can understand. I think it's a lot more nuanced than just the numbers. So I'm going to go by how I feel. I'm 78 years old. If I die today, so be it. If I live to be 110, so be it. But I'm not going to follow the herd to my slaughter. Just not going to do it because somebody else thinks that's what I should do. Enough said. Wow, 9:25 already. I'm looking at the chat. I may have missed a lot of questions. So what I'm going to do real quick is I want to scroll up the chat and just look for QQQs that I may have missed. I'm not going to read anything, just looking for those cues to pop out. And don't see one of them. I'm back to 9 o'clock in the chat. All right, keep going, keep looking. Hey, somebody I don't recognize Carnivore. Keith, hi, Keith actually made it today. Good to see you if you're still here. Good to see you. Wow, got 128 people. Oh, and here's, oh, guys, forget it. Let's just forget it. Never mind. Like Rosanna Dana used to say, never mind. Dirty Larsonet tells us eating meat does not cure diabetes. It makes it worse. Thank you so much, Dirty Larsonet. Just thank you. Thank you so much. You've set us straight. You've put us on the path towards righteousness. Thank you. What else have you got to say? Isn't it nice if somebody comes in and just says, F you, you're wrong about everything. I'm smarter than you. Doesn't that, it bothers me. I shouldn't let it bother me, but it bothers me. But I'm glad I saw that. Yeah, meat causes diabetes. Yeah, there's evidence of tremendous diabetes in the cave paintings, don't you think? Back the cavemen. Of course, Dirty Larsonet probably believes that the Earth is 6,000 years old and that humans and dinosaurs cohabitated a couple thousand years ago. Yeah. Despite all the evidence to the contrary, that's just a hoax. And it was planted there by people wanting you to think that there were dinosaurs. Nelson says, question, Mitch, your voice seems back to normal now. See, I said normal, but still a little bit of slurring. I hear it. Do you still have to think about it, or is it coming naturally? No, I have to think about, I have to slow down or make a conscious effort to enunciate. But it could be worse. It could be worse. And it is getting better. A lot of things are getting better. I couldn't close just my right eye and keep my left eye open. I can almost do that now. Blink. But when I first had the stroke, I did lose a small amount of muscle control on the right side of my face. And I had a little bit of droop, but not much. You can see if I smile, the right side smile doesn't go up as high as the left side. So it's coming back, but those things come back so slowly. It's the smallest muscles, believe it or not, that I believe are the last to really, if they even ever get back to normal, are the last to come back. It's been very interesting. I'm handling it pretty well, I think. Here's somebody I don't. Deftucci. That's an unusual name. There are so many unqualified carnivore MDs on YouTube. They're all trying to sell you things and take advantage of their followers on YouTube. Well, that's not just true about YouTube. That's true about every doctor in the world. I think the carnivore ones are maybe better. You tell me which doctor you go to that isn't in it for the money. Like I said, opinions are like a particular body part that you sit on. Everybody's got one, including you and me. Wow. Bacon Baby's here. How you doing, Bacon Baby? And Myra Jamal, how are you? There are no lucky carb eaters. It has a strong addictive power. Yes, that's true. But not for everybody. Just like alcohol. Alcohol is very addictive, but I've never been addicted to it. I don't like it, and I thought I could become addicted to it. I don't even like the way I feel after I'm drinking it. So there are differences. There are differences in a lot of people. Scrolling through the chat at 9:26, I am almost caught up, and I have only found that one question from Peter. Well, I take that back. Min says, question. The run-of-the-mill bacon we get here in Canada is around 1 gram of carb per slice. Would that be beneficial to keep us using the two energy systems? Thank you. It could. the Wright's bacon that I eat says that it has 0 grams per slice. But you have to understand the way that the food labeling rules work. And when it comes to grams of carbohydrates, they can round it. So if it's more than half a gram, they have to say 1. If it's less than half a gram, they can say 0. So when you see one bacon with 0 and one with 1 gram of carbohydrates, the difference between them might actually, in reality and truth, be less than 1/100th of a gram. So what they do, if they want, it depends on what they want to show. If they want to show 0, the trick is to make the serving size smaller. So as long as the serving size is 1 slice of your bacon is probably not nearly as thick as 1 slice of my Wright's bacon. 4 or 5 slices of my Wright's bacon weigh a half a pound. That would be a half a package of the average sliced bacon. So again, you have to say, so I say, if a half a pound consists of 4 slices or 5 slices, and they say it's 0 carbs, the most it could really have is 0.499999 carbs, because they can call it 0. So in 4 or 5 slices, the maximum carbohydrate I could get, worst case, is going to be 2 to 2.5 grams. And that's fine with me. But I don't think that's enough carbohydrate, because there is carbohydrate in eggs and meat, and we're going to get 5 or 10 grams every day just by eating the meat that we eat. And eggs. It's like 0.7 grams of carbohydrates in an egg. You eat 10 eggs, you got 7 grams of carbs, but it's a different kind of carbs. It doesn't seem to trigger blood sugar levels or anything like that. In meat, it's usually in the form of glycogen. So, who knows? But I think if you're going to try to carb cycle, I think you need to have more carbs than that. I think the idea is going to be going in and out of ketosis more. Again, it's just a theory of mine. And sometimes the less I know about medicine, the more logically I can think about just from observation. So I would worry about it. If you have a gram of carbs per slice, eat a couple slices. Find bacon that says 0, then you know it probably has about half a gram per slice. And that's the reality of it. Those nutritional labels are supposed to be, and food labeling is supposed to be so reliable. And yet I think all the rules and laws that dictate that were written by industry. The word organic in eggs, the meaning of cage-free, free range, pasture-raised. I think most of it is outright con. So they can pleasure. It was like putting a hard, healthy logo on a box of sugary cereal. And it's backed up by the frauds and criminals at places like Tufts and Harvard universities when they come out with these stupid studies that say, on a scale of 1 to 10, sugary breakfast cereal is a 10 in health, and eggs, a fried egg, is a 1. Give me a break. And they get away with that. And that comes out of Tufts, supposedly well known for its nutrition department. How have we been had like this? We've been had because it's about money. Every attempt, every documentary, every expose, every YouTube video that says the opposite is immediately overcome by a tsunami of propaganda, like everything else in this world. Most of us have no idea. We do not know what's really going on about anything. If you think You're getting the news when you watch the news. Again, buy bridge. Nobody's bought it yet. Still for sale. Oh, someone bought me 3 coffees. Jeff Johnson, a name you know. Thank you, Jeff. Well, good for you. You sound like you're making progress, he says. My dear wife had a stroke 2 years ago, and you've been an inspiration. She's 90% back. Thanks. That's great, Jeff, and thank you so much for that. I haven't even thought about the buy me a coffee things. What's wrong with me? I haven't alienated any of you today, so I think I will paste it in the chat. What's the day without a shameless plug for the old guy? All right, let me see. Where are we? I don't realize. I don't think, man, that bacon is actually causing you to be flexing in and out of what carb loading does. I think it's going to be an incidental amount. I think we worry just absolutely too much about quantities that are a gram of things. Sugar, the average person can be very, like a Mediterranean diet, for example. They're very healthy. How do you explain it? They live long lives, get to be old. They have smaller rates of, if any, diabetes and heart disease. They've been living like this for centuries. This explosion did not happen until America decided to come out with a food pyramid that told everybody that this is healthy and this isn't. If people were left to their own devices and industry and profit were left out of it, we probably wouldn't be in this mess now. If we hadn't had Ansel Keys with his cholesterol scare, Ellen G. White with her meat causes men to have impure sexual thoughts thing, and started an entire religion that now controls healthcare in this country from top to bottom, from education to practice. This wouldn't have happened. If people weren't gullible, this wouldn't have happened. But it happened. It isn't any one person's fault. It took greedy corporate people, sociopaths, who could care less about the health of the people, that suffering and death can be measured in acceptable collateral damage. These are the same people that start our wars. The older I get, the more I see examples of everything I know is wrong. The more sad I get about the state of this world and everybody in it, except an enlightened very few. Just beware. Don't click on emails that you don't know who they're from. Everybody seems to be out to get you these days. And the most important thing you can do in living is play good defense and stay out of the way. I'm 26, about 15 minutes behind in the chat. I only saw very few questions, so I don't feel too bad. Here's a little tip from Terry Sue. So I slow roasted a pork belly 2 days ago. Yesterday I threw some in a hot skillet, got the fat crispy. It tastes like the best pork chops I've ever eaten. That's great. I need to make more pork belly. I really like it, but just so many simple things that I seem to just gravitate towards eating. Throw a few chicken thighs in the air fryer. Last night for my second meal, I fried up 2 of those beautiful wild caught salmon fillets, sockeye salmon that I bought at frozen, individually wrapped and vacuum sealed from Sam's Club. That's a great, those are the best salmon I've had in a long time. And it's not cheap, it's still salmon, but wow, is it a good? I just took my not Teflon, coated frying pan, ceramic coated frying pan, and I put about a pat of butter, about 1 inch thick, in there, and just pan fried these fillets. It left the skin on them. Fried them on the skin side first for 2 or 3 minutes aside. Checked them on the meat thermometer, make sure they were at least 150 or more degrees. And they are delicious, and the skin comes out crispy, and there's a lot of nutrition in the skin. It's a great meal, and I would say about 8 or 9 ounces of fish. They come in a 2-pound bag, cost 20-something bucks. Not cheap, but it's fabulous. It's fabulous, and I do like the frozen hamburger patties that Jerry Voitush told me about from Sam's Club. They come 6 pounds to a package. They're 1/3 of a pound patties, and you take them frozen and throw them in the air fryer for 10 minutes, and they come out great and so easy. So there's so many easy ways to cook things. And like I said, we don't dwell on preparing the food like all these foodies do, because food becomes less important to you. It becomes just fuel. Becomes fuel. Ames B says, I want to read Ben Azadi's new book. Ben's got some great points, and I disagree with him on some things too. I don't remember exactly what they are, but I have his book on flexing. I read it years ago. I don't even remember what it said. I remember the thrust of the book was not to stay in one mode forever. Many other people say that. Many other people that we admire give that advice too. I know, because Bart Kay has done a reaction video to basically all of them. But that's his thing. Carnivore Key says, do you enjoy a pipe, Mitch? I haven't smoked a pipe in 55 years. I smoked a pipe before I smoked cigars, but it was too hard on my teeth and too much work. Always cleaning it and tamping it, and it gets juicy, and you get that awful tobacco taste. I still have a bunch of pipes. All my old pipes, I still have them in it somewhere. I don't remember where. But no, I don't. And now, try to find pipe tobacco. Wow. You can't find any in any stores. Used to be, you could at least get the commercially available stuff like Captain Black, and that you could go into any drugstore. Not anymore. Nobody carries pipe tobacco now. What a world. Pipe smoking, I think, is gone the way of most things. It's becoming obsolete. But I did enjoy it. You could tell how much I enjoyed it because all of my clothes had many holes burned in them. Pipes are always spewing little flaming things that burn holes in your polyester clothes. And back in those days, all clothes were polyester. Papa Carnivore, I did it. Mitch, just want to say thanks for your friendship and excellent advice, ideas, suggestions. Peter bought me a coffee, and wisdom. You are truly one of a kind. Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yes, I got it this time. So just want you to know that I did get it. Thank you so much. Bill Cook says a little late. I think. Yeah, I think. Let's see, what swine dog 712. Who are these people? Where do they get these names? I wouldn't be so quick to dismiss post you raise. Just make sure it's the real deal. I buy from a local farm where I live. The eggs are amazing. Okay, that's good advice always. I use the Sam's pasture-raised eggs. I don't live near a local farm. I go through an awful lot of eggs. I would have to hire somebody to be on a quest. Full-time job every day out there trying to round up some pasture-raised eggs, or I'd have to buy a bunch of chickens and they'd throw me out of my community because you can't have chickens in here. So the Sam's and the Nellie's brand, which I can't always find either, but I found the Nellie's are pretty good. And Sam's finally took that advertising bullshit off the cover of the label of their eggs, where they claimed their pasture-raised eggs were 100% vegetarian fed. Something that the brainwashed society needs to see, or they will not think it's healthy. How could chicken possibly be healthy if the chicken was out there eating worms and grubs? No. Don't want no animal products in my food. The ignorance is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. The ignorance comes from the brainwashing. They only hear the narrative from big food. It's anti-meat, anti-anything that comes from an animal. When the people who believe that are animals themselves and should be eating what they themselves are made of, not what the tree outside is made of. We are not supposed to be eating landscaping. Our bodies have no use for it. Tell that to the average brainwashed human being in our society today. Terry Sue doesn't like all the crowns. I don't blame you, Terry Sue. Don't blame you at all. Devin says, Keith, pipes smell good and cigars scented ones. My uncle smokes, but yeah, I don't not smoke a flavored cigar. They taste horrible, and that stuff that they use to flavor them up, it can't be good for you. That's the thing about a cigar that's so nice. It's just leaves. It's just tobacco. No additives whatsoever. No chemicals. Nothing. You take a tobacco leaf, you age it, and you roll it up. That's a cigar. No chemicals. Cigarettes, on the other hand, are loaded with chemicals, additional nicotine, everything else. Then you don't inhale the cigar anyway, so you're not sucking that crap down into your lungs across your vocal cords. I've been smoking cigars for 55 years. And if they were cigarettes, I would talk like this. Because that's how a smoker sounds. I know that because my mother was a heavy smoker and she sounded like a man. And it used to piss her off when she answered the phone. And people would say, "Good morning, sir. Is the lady of the house in?" She'd get flaming mad red. But it's true. She sounded like a man. You've heard it. You've heard that voice on women where they open the voice. If you shut your eyes, you swear it was a man talking. Usually very heavy smokers. Drawing that smoke across their vocal cords every time they inhale. Cigar smokers and pipe smokers don't do that. We bring it in our mouth, puff it out, enjoy the aroma a little bit. Oh, okay. How we doing? I'm staying about 10 minutes behind, so I need to speed up. Don't see any more cues. 143 people. Wow. Oh, I should wrap it up now. I've got a big audience. Good to see you. As a question from Jim. Mitch, are you getting to sit in this and walker? But I am. I went out yesterday. and I may do the same today. Just down to the end of my street, back up. I can't walk miles yet, but at least it's something. And I do like to get out in the sun in the early morning. And a couple of days a week, I actually take off my shoes and stick my feet in the grass and try to sit out there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get the sun on my face. I also get the sun when I walk. I don't go out sunbathing, but trying to get some of it in. Everything in life is limited by this recovery from this thing. I try to do things that at least get my heart rate up a little bit, because my heart rate is normally, and always has been, my resting heart rate hovers around 60. And these stupid, destructive fools in the medical community prescribe beta blockers to me. What do they want to do? Stop my heart completely? It is nuts. I can't. They tried to kill me. Honest to God, I swear. They tried to kill me when I was in the hospital. Maybe it was because of my big mouth. But I swear that they were trying to kill me. These doctors, every one of them. They did nothing for me except give me bad advice. Turn me into a diabetic. The only people that were worthwhile seeing in therapy were some of the therapists. They were great people, and they did me some good. But the actual, as far as the hospital staff goes, very few of the nurses gave a shit. Some of them did. Some of them really did. But most of them were recent immigrants to this country. And as far as you were concerned, you were just something they had to put up with while they got through their shift. And they treated you like that too. I can't imagine being in a nursing home. I think I'm going to hire a hitman. Put him on retainer with instructions that if anything like that ever happens to me, shoot me now. Rather than have to put up with that. That's not living, as far as I'm concerned. What are you saving it for? But I'm not bitter. I'm a happy guy. You have to be a happy guy. Don't get me wrong. I talk about reality a lot, but basically, I'm a pretty happy guy. I'm pretty content. I'm okay. I make the most of life in my situation, and as my situation improves, I'll improve what I do along with it. But I can still make the best of this situation, as long as I don't feel like I'm being abused, ignored, or I'm suffering. And I'm not suffering now. I'm not suffering. I get tired, but who doesn't? And I have to remember that I'm pushing 80 years old. I have to remember that I can't be like a 30 or 40-year-old anymore. None of us can. I'm skimming through your chats. I guess we're going to go to 10 o'clock this morning, which is fine. Hey, Louis finally woke up. Morning, guy. Louis, I am here. Enjoyed. Start over. No. That's why they have the replay, Louis. I enjoyed you coming in last night. It was a great little panel we had last night. Every channel's got its big deals. Well, you guys are my channel's big deals, and you were all here last night. We just had a good time. We had a good time. And see, stick up for each other. Thomas says that we have start over because Lewis has finally arrived. That's funny. And again, a happy birthday to Rick Charger Mopar. And Terry Sousa, it's the Friday the 13th audience, and it's Rick's 57th birthday. Rick, you're almost an old fart. Wow, how does that happen, huh? Are you wondering how that happens to you? My own son, Rick, will be 55 in November. 55. My son. I can't say it ain't so. I'm still going down. I'm leaving the chat up there so you guys can see. You can see the current chat scrolling. 142 in the chat. Yeah, that's the best attendance I've had in a while. Thanks for coming, guys. Thank you for coming. I hope I haven't scared you away again. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's true. Rick 57, he looks 45. That's what meat does to people. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But according to one of my viewers, I am looking like I'm on death's door. I wonder how the hell does he decide that I look like I'm on death's door? I'm looking at myself on the computer screen right here. I'm 78 years old. I see the average 60-year-old looks older than me, I think, but am I deluding myself? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe so. Don't ever ask anybody, well, how old do you think I am? That's a terrible question to have to answer for somebody. You don't want to insult them. So if you want to be mean, you pick an age 10 years older than they are. Well, yeah, you can't be a day over 95. Then they get very disappointed. Or you can do what most people do, is the little white lie. Oh man, you can't be a day over 28, can you? Graceful Lily. And those where that thumb emoji is. Thank you, Lily. Give some thumbs up to Mitch. Wow, I haven't sipped my coffee for a while. Sometimes I wonder if that feeling of energy you get from a cup of coffee isn't as much from the placebo effect of what you think should happen and the actual chemical effect from the caffeine. Because this whole thing is basically half a cup of decaf coffee. I know there's going to be a small amount of caffeine in it, but certainly not enough to feed if I'm indeed an addict, to feed it. This is a never-ending chat we got here. Aunt B is here. Hi, B. Thanks for coming. How are you? Mitch, OldGuyCarnivore, you tell the truth and we benefit. I try. Stanley Blythe says, Mitch, did you sleep better last night? And all right, I'll talk about that a little bit. I don't want to get into it. I'm certainly not going to get into it to the extent I did last night. I'll preface what I'm going to tell you, a little announcement, by saying, do not tell me you're sorry. Do not tell me you got my condolences. Don't tell me sad to hear that, because it's nothing like that. If anything, it should be a cause for celebration. But I found out 2 days ago that my second ex-wife passed away. She's not the mother of my children. I was married to her for 20 years. I have been divorced from her for 20 years. So in total, she has completely trashed and ruined the last 40 years of my life because divorcing her wasn't enough. She was mentally ill, bipolar, psychopath, narcissist, alcoholic. The first 10 years of my marriage was okay. After that, she had caused me to have to go into hiding, basically, for the 20 years we were divorced because she couldn't find enough lawyers. She accused me of stealing millions of dollars from her and made my life miserable and turned me into a paranoid wreck. And it ended 2 days ago. But it still made me sad because I still remember the woman she was when I first met her, but I didn't realize how sick she was. And many of us get caught in those traps. Well, it was a life-altering thing for me. Ding dong, the witch is dead. It's kept me from sleeping because in my mind, I keep replaying all the terror and the horror and the legal challenges and the lies and the defamation and slandering and that went on for most of my life now from her. And it's over. It's over. I'm still kind of in a state of shock. But I've met wonderful women. We have amazing women here in this group. But this particular woman was mentally ill. So, do I hate her? I really never hated her. I felt sorry for her, what she'd become. But I could talk about that for decades. But that's where that question came from. And same thing last night. I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning and just lay there with my brain going crazy, just still reliving all the shit that woman put me through. How it affected my life in ways that I hate to even admit. I hope none of you ever have anybody that spends years on your ass trying to ruin you in any way possible for absolutely no reason. Many of you know exactly. And I think that's the worst form of abuse in the world. Many of you are probably saying, yeah, Mitch, that's just your side of the story. Well, there's not enough time in the world for me to go over this 100 pounds of evidence that I have in case it ever really got serious and any lawyer or judge really took her seriously. Fortunately, the longer it went on, everybody out there got wiser and refused. So I would say for the past 6 or 7 years, it hasn't been that bad. And that's why I decided to go on to YouTube. Because prior to that, I was afraid to let anybody on this planet know where I was and how to find me, because she spent her entire day on the computer and the internet and Google trying to find any evidence of what I'm doing so she can figure out some way to turn it against me and figure out how it hurts her in some way so she can get even with me. That's the paranoia part of it. So, and then 2 bottles of wine a day didn't help either. That's the story. That's why I didn't sleep. So maybe tonight I'll get a good night's sleep, but I didn't really last night. Got a good half night's sleep. But I feel pretty good this morning. That's all I want to say about that. And please don't ask me questions about it. Well, that took up a few minutes, didn't it? But nobody's chasing me. Don't owe anybody any money. Nobody's chasing me. I can't even actually let you know what my last name is now without fear that it's going to end up in some Google search somewhere and start a whole new onslaught. I don't have to worry about that anymore. Found out yesterday that her daughter, who called my son to tell her, never believed anything she said anyway, because she knew me. But I had to run under the assumption that her kids believed her, so I avoided them too. But her daughter apologized profusely for the abuse that I took. She told my son that nothing that her mother said was true, and for 20 years she was trying to talk her mother out of trying to ruin me. But she couldn't. Well, great. Thank you. When I say ruin me, I mean reporting me to government agencies, reporting my kids to government agencies. She went after my family. She went after my kids. She tried to ruin my son's career by filing false reports with the government agencies that regulate the securities business. She called the police and told them I beat her. It was crazy. You've never seen anything like a woman who would use anything in her means because she was so deluded that she thought you were destroying her life when everything in the world you did was only trying to help her. Oh, God, I got to stop. I got to stop. I will go on like this for talking for an entire day about what it was like. If you wonder, here's the one takeaway from this. Because I've talked about her every once in a while. I've called her a psychopath. I've admitted that I was married to a woman who was bipolar, narcissistic, paranoid, schizophrenic, manic, bipolar, who refused to take her medicine because the doctor, whose life she also tried to ruin, prescribed her lithium, and the lithium took the fun out of it. So she refused to take the lithium. Then when she didn't take the lithium, I would say, are you taking your meds? And then she'd go nuts on me. And I knew she wasn't, and I couldn't get her to take her meds. Her psychiatrist, in the meantime, committed suicide. Honest. And when she was at a brief lucid moments, she could be a wonderful woman. I fell in love with that woman. So there's a huge amount of sadness involved for me in this, because it made me miss out on almost half of my adult life. But I try to be happy, and I just try to do right by everybody I meet. And when some of these idiots write comments as hurtful as they do, I must have PTSD from my life with this woman. That's why I react the way I do to these bad comments. A lot of my current personality can be explained. My hermitness, my unwillingness to get into relationships. The freedom that I have from not having to answer to anybody anymore because I put up with this for all those years. Maybe that explains it. Who knows? Well, we're going to have to end this. So, to my second ex-wife, I truly hope she rests in peace, really. She was never happy. Why go on living if you can't have any happiness? If it's all anger, all I'm going to get even, all they're out to get me. If it's all that, why waste space on this planet? As far as changes to my life, I don't think it's going to make any changes. The damage is done. I live the way I live, and like I said, at best, maybe I'll tell you what my last name is, because the only place I've ever used it on YouTube is when people get the copy of my book, by Taming the Beast Within. My last name is on the cover, but virtually nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows who I am. I don't give out my phone number. But my last name, just so you know, I can tell you now, without worrying about it, another onslaught of lawsuits, is Weiss, Weiss. My name is Mitch Weiss. Nice to meet you. You're Mitch Fit. Yeah, Bill Cook. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Uh, it's a little late for that bacon baby. She says that Rick should go live with me today, birthday boy. Yeah, we should have thought of that, Rick. But he says, yes, true. I was already on with Mitch last week. Well, we could probably come up with some other things to talk about. But at any rate, everybody, I'm going to play some happy music. I'm sorry that I maybe got to be a little bit of a downer, but maybe that'll explain a little bit about some of my mannerisms and my attitudes and my reactions to being criticized by anybody. It just a lifetime. You can't imagine. You can't imagine. But it is a weight lifted off of me. My kids too, because she would attack both my children because they of course were conspiring with me against her, which couldn't be further from the truth. And looking back, I think I had money. I think she married me for my money or my potential to make money, which I did. Gave her the life of a queen, but none of that mattered. Of course, when times got bad and I lost the business, well, why should I stick with him? It's his fault. He ruined my life, and that was her attitude ever since. So, sorry, I told you I'll go on and on and on about this. Go on and on and on. I got to stop reliving it. I got to stop thinking about it. Get a good night's sleep tonight. Be back here on Sunday morning. I do not have a guest yet. Anybody wants to come home with me Sunday, send me a Gmail. Otherwise, you're stuck with me solo like this. Everybody saying goodbye to everybody else. Thank you all for coming. The attendance was great today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I will take my uncaffeinated self. So far, so good on that. I'm going to go a couple more days and see what happens. But I'm going to go my uncaffeinated self and follow my own advice today. So until I see you again on Sunday, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.